All day I've been preparing, and I was going to sing the dream song, but then, no, it just goes right out the window. I didn't even fluff my pillows. What is this? This is unprofessional. This is unprofessional. You don't do this live. But here we are. Here we are. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. It's another Galactic Tarot coming at you live from Sedona, Arizona. I'm moving the whole table again, moving the whole carpet. Where is everybody? What is this? There we go. Mary's in the building. Deanna's in the building. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So, first off, let's give an uppercut to that thumbs up button. I love you guys. Been preparing more than less for this one, because I really wanted to make sure that I gave you guys, all of my tips and tricks, like, what would be asked of me in the session, how I would answer that, and, all the things that have worked for me throughout the years for remembering my dreams. And, just quick disclaimer, this stuff works. So you need to really ask yourself, do you want to remember all these dreams? Before, it's one of those doors that once you open the door is open. So, without further ado, this video will be called How to Remember Your Dreams. How am I doing? I am very awesome. Very awesome. Thanks for asking, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just going to get right into it. I want to get through that. I got 8 numbers written here, all the things you can do to remember your dreams, or if you're already remembering your dreams, to remember more dreams. So once again, thanks for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification icon to be alerted when I go live. More and more videos planned for you guys. Got some fun stuff this month. So anyways, number 1, this is an important one. How dark is the room? So, this is like one of those things you can make a, small investment on one of these websites and get some of these blackout shades. River Blue, what up, boy? It's your boy Blue. You can make a minimal investment. You make a minimal investment in some blackout shades, blackout curtains. And it's very, very important that the room is dark enough to remember your dreams. So you might think back, some of you that are watching this video or catching this video, wondering how to remember your dreams. Oh, I used to remember my dreams, and it's been different lately. You might realize, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he's right. My room was really dark back then. And now, I'm in a different place and I got these different curtains, or, sometimes we're, especially with couples and partners existing, sometimes they don't like the room incredibly dark. They like being woken up by the natural light. So this is obviously something that there's going to have to be some sort of like conversation. Like, if this is an important thing to you, this is incredibly important to me. It's one of those kind of, things that is very necessary, because I actually predict what's going to take place. And you can see that in episode 1 and 2. Times that remembering my dream, deciphering my dream actually saved me, saved my life, or saved, my job, my career, certain things like that. So, dark room, number 1. Number 2, okay, we're going to talk about your alarm, all right? Oh, and speaking of the room being dark, just to go back to number 1, sometimes you got one of those it's a tiny little light. And I don't know if it's on your smoke detector or it's on your alarm or something like that. I got to cover all that stuff. If you can see the whole room wigging out, going, that's not good either. So back to number 2, your alarm. What type of alarm do you have? How are you waking up? What is the sound? All right. So first off, if you guys are not working a regular 9 to 5, or it's just the weekend, an excellent thing to start working with is waking up naturally with no alarm. If you have to have an alarm, which, a lot of people in the world, you're watching this, you have to have an alarm. You can try having a second alarm, which is a very graceful way to wake up. A very graceful sound, something, that's more relaxing that maybe you'd sleep through. but as an attempt, like maybe like a second, like an old cell phone or something like that, that wakes you up in a more mild manner, because your goal is to not be jarred awake. The second your eyes open up, so that's obviously like 2A or 1A or all of these A, keeping your eyes closed upon awakening. And this is literally just a, skip ahead to number 3. This is just an affirmation. This is just a manifestation. You tell yourself, I want to remember my dreams, so I'm going to remember my dreams, and I'm going to keep my eyes closed upon awakening. These days that you have this epic, crazy, wild dream, and you're like, wow, I remembered all of that, but it's been this many days since my last dream. If you think back to that day, you'll realize you woke up gracefully, or you woke up in whatever way that you did, and your eyes were closed for a certain period of time upon awakening. If your eyes just open up and you're trying to find a button, you're losing a huge percent of the dream. Can you get it back with practice? Of course you can. This is, the goal here is to expand upon wherever your dream state is now. Okay, so the alarm, either a hands-free alarm, no alarm is even best, or a second alarm, something more graceful, something that's like a slow build. That's what I have. I have one of my old phones, and literally the song, it's what's it called? The song's called Premiere. It's like an old house song, and it literally just starts off, and you just hear the woman's high heel shoes. You hear the, and then it slowly builds to like, a pretty loud song. But I'm like, I've had this phone for so long, I know how to like shut it off, and it reminds me to keep my eyes closed. It's almost like, is somebody in the room? You just hear the shoes. So, but find your own thing. Like, you might have some like, Asian music, or, something that just, you can pre-record your voice. You can horrify yourself and just be like, hey mom, I want to voice record you saying it's time to get up for school. Don't do that. Don't do that. That would be the best alarm ever. Just like pre-record your mom, be like, you're late for school, at the top of her lungs. That's a joke. Just trying to make you laugh. Anyways, number 3, affirmations. So what's most important? Basically, I don't even know where that came from. I'm going to do that, actually. That sounds like a good idea. I'm going to do that to mess with myself. Affirmations. You have to tell yourself, a lot of people not remember their dreams. They're telling themselves, they're like, well, when I wake up, I just blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to say it out loud, because I don't want to put that evil out into the universe, Ricky Bobby. But anyways, you have to tell yourself, I want to remember my dreams. I can remember my dreams. I do remember my dreams, because guess what? At some point in your life, you remembered your dreams. We all did, It's very rare that I'm talking to someone in a session, or talking to somebody like one-on-one, and they tell me they've never had dreams their entire lives. Very, very incredibly rare. So, and that's usually due to something going on that they don't want to remember their dreams. That's a conversation for a different video. But see, Mary, you're saying you don't remember most of your dreams. These are the tools so you remember more of your dreams. So, like, perfect example. You're saying you don't remember most of your dreams. You got to stop saying that right away. We have to word things in a way of, okay, I'm going to be doing some of this stuff. I wrote down about 3 of the things that Alexandra talked about, and all these things are going to do is help me remember more of my dreams. And when you put that out, when you make a change, and when you do something, or when you say, I put this here, this is my manifestation, I do this, I do X, Y, Z, these things take place. So plain and simple, the affirmations and the words that we're speaking, incredibly important. What? Anyways, number 4. Can wake up during the night. So you can set another alarm. So if you're not going to do the 2 alarms during the day, and then once again, this is something that you try on the weekend to my 9-to-5ers out there. But not that you can't do this, but waking up during the night. Some people suggest like drinking a ton of water, so you have to wake up to use the bathroom. I don't really like the thought of that. That does work, I'll tell you that. But waking up during the night, the actual, biological reason why that works, when we go to bed for a certain period of time, our body produces melatonin naturally. Can you take melatonin to help you remember your dreams or help you fall asleep? yeah, you can. I'm pretty much an advocate, and getting the body into a certain state that we don't really add in supplements all the time. We use supplements to supplement. We don't just have these. A supplement is not a supplement if we take it every day. Once again, that's a conversation maybe for like the workout videos, but less is more. We don't want to put something into our body, whatever it is, and then our body's like, oh, I don't need to produce that anymore because it's here. So, naturally having your body produce double melatonin, wake up during the night, sometime around 3 in the morning, 2:45, 2:30, 2 o'clock, whatever your time is. This is something that you're going to do some, guess and check work here. And you wake up, and then you stay up for a little while, meditate, drink some water, maybe make a cup of tea without caffeine in it, do whatever your thing is, and then go back to bed. I almost guarantee that day you're going to have dreams because you got like this load of melatonin in the body. And if you think back, once again, if you think back to that day you had that crazy dream, you'll probably remember, I did wake up during the night. He's right. So this is going to produce extra melatonin, So that's an excellent one that I've done. There's been times where I actually purposefully have done that just to really, really, accentuate a dream state process, or especially with, just skip ahead to next month's topic. I want to be telling you guys about, lucid dreaming and astral travel in dream time. It's something I'm very excited about. So get ready for that. But that really helps with that as well. Just to give you one little tidbit now, when it comes to actually becoming aware that you're dreaming, now you're talking about, not that it's not possible by just going to bed at a normal time and waking up at your normal time and just living the everyday regular waking life, but this will drastically help with lucidity, with remembering that you're dreaming by, living in both realms, so to speak. So number 5, your journal. Yes, that's right. He's talking about his journal. So now keep in mind, I'm in a little bit of truth time with you right now. This journal, it became so much work for me. We make excuses, time, place, I'm busy, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. I have not been keeping up on my dream journal, but this is what I'll tell you, because the goal of this video is to get your dream state in the best place it could ever be. And when my dream state was in the best place that it could ever be, I was journaling. So, when spirit sees that we're doing the work, when spirit's like, whether it's higher selves, God, the original creator of your soul, when they see we're doing the work and they're like, wow, they're taking all this time to actually physically write down the dreams. This really, really works. It really, really works. Honest and truly. Because, I don't know if it's just due to the work or due to the fact that we're actually anchoring it into the reality. We're getting this place, this other dimension, this other timeline, this world within a world, and we're actually putting it on paper. It's kind of like when you were studying school or whatnot, and it's like you do your flashcards. I don't know, do kids even do flashcards? They probably just have it on their phone now. Showing my age here, but you do your flashcards. For me, the main reason I'd remember what was on the flashcards is because I was actually physically writing it down, and I ended up like reading something about that later. But when we write things down, we really remember it. Now you're picturing the dream. You're like, what else was there? What color were the walls? What was this? When you start writing all this stuff down, you're anchoring it in. Because trust me, there were times where I was lazy and I had a little voice recorder or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, I was over here, and then I was underground, and there was a person, and they were doing this. And literally, it sounds like the ravings of a madman if I listen to it, I don't know, 2 days later. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't remember any of it. So don't lie to yourself and use a voice recorder and say, I'll remember these dreams, because you won't. It has to be written down. I'll say this, if you got to like jet off to work and you want to just record, you get back. If you really want to really accentuate the process, and I mean, why would we not want to? This is literally, we can predict the future. Okay, number 6, using the journal, okay? And what I mean by using the journal is reading it. like literally reading it before bed. So, if we get really, really exhausted, you'll notice that on some of those days, it might seem a little bit more difficult for some to remember their dreams. But if you get yourself into the state of falling asleep and you get yourself gracefully into this state, through meditation or through just like, the right mental preparation, you're going to remember more dreams. So what if you just flip through the book and like, you could even write really old dreams. You could write a dream down from when you were 7 years old. I was 7 years old and I was inside my favorite video game or my comic book, or I was flying around. Like, when we process and we actually are visualizing something, like, as well as we can remember it in our mind's eye before bed, this will help you with remembering your dreams and even activating to those of you that aren't remembering your dreams in this present moment. This is something you can do literally tonight. You can just remember a dream, visualize a dream, think about a dream that you do remember. Because now you're basically activating these thought receptors wherever they are, and activating these parts of the brain, or reactivating them from when you did remember your dreams. Okay, so that's a good one. And obviously meditation, meditation is key with most things in life, but meditating before bed as well. Number 7. Okay, so you wake up and that dream is close, and you have that, like, it's almost like an anxiety, like, I can't remember my dream, or whatever it is, knock on wood. You're close, but no cigar there, Charles. I call this the toss and turn method. You ever, you're thinking about this thing you got to do. You're like, tomorrow before work, I need to do this thing. And then you start walking around and you forget the thought. And then for some reason, you end up back where the thought you were having it, and you remember it. So it's a lot like that. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, or if that just sounds completely crazy, but that's happened with me, at least. Like, I'll forget something I was thinking about, and I was like, how did I forget it? And then, like, I'll go back to where I was standing when I was thinking it. And then it's like the thought is still floating around in the air. So whatever that is, that's like some metaphysical science right there. Or, I don't know. Either way. So the toss and turn method. So, you might not remember the exact position that you were in when you woke up. Or you might have I think I was on my side. I think I was on my back. I think I was on my back and my head was off to the side. So going where the dream is. So you shut off your alarm. It's close. You have that, like, I can't remember it. Like, because that's the worst. That's like one of the worst feelings to be, when you had that awesome dream and it's like just so close, but it's so far away at the same time. So, just trying to find the spot where it is in the bed, plain and simple. And once again, that might sound a little odd to some, but I promise you that's a real thing. And then number 8, last but not least, I promise this isn't a plug. Gemstones, plain and simple. The gemstones, because this goes back to affirmations. So if you have these gemstones, and you're like, as you're putting it under your bed, you're like, I got a big stick of selenite. I'm going to put it right under where I lay. My spouse or my partner, forget about them. But me, I got a big bar of selenite under my side of the bed, or under the middle of the bed, wherever you lay. Okay, so you put that selenite under the bed. You put that celestite. Celestite, I call that the most beautiful crystal that's under the bed. It's very powerful. Astral travel, lucidity, shielding and protection while you're dreaming, if you're leaving your body. Thing's a beast. But yeah, just doing some research on the crystals, and maybe doing some gridding with them. And by gridding, what do I mean by that? Once again, this needs to be a video all in itself. My dog's playing with her toy. I don't know if you guys can hear that squeaky squeak. Anyways, getting a crystal, like, say it's a piece of selenite. This is an easy one. Getting a piece of selenite, and a big stick of selenite. It's probably, what is it, $10. Look around for your selenite. There's some people overpay for their selenite. They're like, it's a little tower and it's $45. You paid too much. Okay. Anyway, so you get like a big stick of raw selenite. You got your pieces. Maybe you put little markings on them, so you label it. And then literally just break it into the appropriate size pieces and get all the stuff. So now you've got this crystal that was once one piece, okay? And there's been scientific, what do you call it? Research. There's been scientific research to show that when we get a quartz crystal and you put it in a vacuum chamber and you break it in half, they can actually see energy connecting the crystal. So this is like, proof of like things like quantum entanglement and all these other things, like seeing the what is it called? Harmonic dissonance, I believe is what it's called. But basically the energy that's connecting things that are now broken apart. So you can literally use this to grid your bed, to grid your room, to grid whatever the heck it is. Like another really affordable one is rose quartz. All right. So, and where you can get it, actually stores that sell fish, some stores that sell fish, they got like a big wooden crate. I've seen it numerous times. They got a big wooden crate of rose quartz, because what they think you're going to do is get the rose quartz, put it in your fish tank, and it's going to get covered in all this green slime and all this algae and stuff inside the fish tank. So, but there's certain fish, and that's actually a really cool point. Now talking to the guy's like a marine biologist, like very serious scientist dude. And he's like, if you put the rose quartz in the fish tank, when the fish have babies, instead of having 2 or 3 fish, they'll have 7 or 8. And I'm like, okay, so like we use this crystal for all these love things, and in the animal kingdom, it actually works. Because that's like, I love things like that because they kind of rule out the whole like placebo effect. People say, oh, well, that's happening because you think it's happening because you put the crystal, no, sometimes we see things happen with like, babies and little kids and animals, and nobody told the animal, hey, you're not supposed to knock on the fish tank, but hey, I'm going to put this rose quartz in there. You're going to have more babies. And the fish is like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's not how it works. Anyways, just one of those fascinating things. Like when I heard that, I just love when things in the metaphysics like go through to the physical. Back to gemstones. Anyways, so you can get a piece of rose quartz, same thing. Break it up with your hammer and chisel. Be very safe when you're doing this. Like don't just start slamming it on the ground, slamming it on your mantle inside your house. Like be safe if you're going to do this, guys, for real. Always ask your doctor before breaking apart a crystal with a hammer. Sorry. So anyways, if you break apart these pieces, grid the room, make 5 pieces, put one up above the fan, put one up in the top of your attic, put one in each bottom of the pieces. This goes beyond the dream state stuff. Like I said, I can make a whole video on this for you guys. But creating your own grid. And when you create this grid, you're saying, this grid, so I remember my dream state. We go right back to the affirmations now. This grid's to make sure that, if I happen to leave my body and have a flying dream, I'm going to be shielded and protected in my little pink pyramid obelisk of light, because I made this grid. Okay. I connected all the energy, and ipso facto, Eric gets the company. So, doing your research on your gemstones, and, there's awesome stuff that I know works. Celestite, like I said, is my favorite. Selenite is one of my favorites. Most of the stuff that's in the dream bracelet on my website, but out of these 3, angelite, celestite, purple fluorite's really good. What's the other one? Oh no, one I don't have in bead form. That's not on this piece. That is underneath my bed. Apophyllite. So it looks pretty simple. It looks just like a quartz crystal geode. It's like just like the crystal's a little small, and sometimes you get some double terminateds on there. But apophyllite is really good for astral travel, remembering your dream state, all that good stuff. So yeah, without further ado, now I want to get into the dream state submissions. Okay, the dream states that have been submitted by you guys, by my Patreon supporters as well. I got an old phone here, so I can have the emails up, because I'm not going to write all this down, and printers, we're not going to waste the paper. Anyways. So let's do this. Okay. I don't know if I should say her name. She's a she. So that leaves us with about 50% of the population. I'll give you the initials BL. So BL. Because sometimes you don't know. Do people want that, do people want their names even with all this stuff? I don't know. So just to be better safe than sorry. Oh, do I have coffee? I have coffee. But it's dark out, Alexander. How are you going to sleep? Don't you worry about that. Let me worry about that. Anyways, I was 6 or 7 years old, and I was being adopted by a couple. I'll only mention one part of the dream because the other part of the dream was dark and kind of horrible. Part 2 of dream. The man picked me up in a black car and drove me into a huge compound. As the man continued to drive around the compound, I could see huge mountain peaks covered in snow surrounding the compound, and I remember being in complete awe at the beauty. As I was staring at the mountains, the man stopped the car and put it in park. He helped me out of the car and told me to follow him. We were in front of the building that looked like an office. As we were climbing the stairs, I got distracted by the mountains, and I got startled when the man slammed the door leading into the office. I started to walk back up the stairs, and when I reached the door, there were these huge knots around the doorknob, and I couldn't get in. When I tried to open the door, I tried yelling for the man, but he seemed to be ignoring me as he reached for a sandwich that was on a plate on the desk. I sighed and looked at the knots. I started to untangle the knots, and within a very short amount of time, I was able to untangle the knots. As I walked into the room, the man turned around abruptly and appeared shocked. With the sandwich in his hand, he started yelling at me and told me that I wasn't allowed to do that and I should never do anything like that again. End of dream. Sent from iPhone. Okay, so first of all, we've got the two words that stand out to me the most is the sandwich and the knots. And now we've got these two, what are the words? Once again, this is the work, you guys can be doing on your own. Can you use ways to interpret dreams? Yes. Is it better for you to work on your own definitions, your own way of deciphering for you, your angels, your guardian angels, God, original creator of your soul, whatever your vernacular is, your higher selves, your spirit guides? Is it better for you to have your own vernacular so spirit can communicate with you? Absolutely. That's the best. Not using other people's, dream things. And now we're talking about a long journey. We're talking about this is what I've been doing for years to get to this point. But I have my own way of deciphering my dreams. And oddly enough, it seems like sometimes people that are in my life, they start to sometimes get my way of deciphering, probably because spirit knows they're going to run it by me. So their team's using it. I don't know. It's a long thing. We're not talking about that right now. Anyways, we've got the sandwich and we've got the knots. All right. So, what is the term? What are the sayings when we have something in a dream? What are the sayings that go with these things in everyday life? All right. So we've got the sandwich, feeling sandwiched, feeling pressure. Okay. So the sandwich definitely represents pressure. Okay. So there's some sort of pressure. And then knots, the expression tied up in knots. Okay. So there's obviously pressure going on in your everyday life. And the knots are representing worries because of what the knots represent. And the sandwich is representing pressure. So you're worried because you're under pressure. And this literally, just to really decipher the rest of the dream, because when I looked at it, sister, you were literally transmuting a past lifetime. So we're going to really go woo-woo on some of them right now. Most of the people watching love it, though. You were transmuting a past lifetime. Like this family that adopted you, quote unquote, this was a remembrance of another lifetime. And you basically, lifetimes, timelines. This was you to get on the best possible timeline, remembering and dealing with things from a past lifetime. So I hope that helps out there, sister. Okay. So now we are going to go into the next one. We're going to go into the next one. All right, here we go. I'm going to leave this one anonymous. He's not watching now. I'm going to leave this anonymous. Is he watching now? Yes, he is. Okay, anyways. All right, this was last night. I'm going to dream 2, by the way, brother. This was last night. I figured it had to do with what I see as a challenge. She has that. I keep looking for the past and things, and I feel I am missing rather than making new things here. Maybe this isn't one of the best to openly share on the internet. Well, here we are. However, if you decide to, I'd rather you use my username. I was on a road trip to Canada with my grandmother. We were in the car and looking for a place to stay. I tried to find one of my relatives. None of them actually lived there. I just thought one did. That was in parentheses. Anyway, we give up and went to some sort of bar/diner. My high school buddies are running the bar, and my grandma asks for alcohol. She gets some, and I was just not feeling it. After their shift, we go out to a river. The river is from where I used to live in I won't say, because he's trying to remain anonymous. We're all hanging out, and then I realized I left stuff there. More parentheses, as in before I had come in the dream. A hatchet, some clothes, a bike, and a backpack. I'm grabbing all my stuff while everyone leaves. They are gone by the time I get all my things, so I return to the mainland. Some sort of school or facility that was a mix of a bunch of places I've been. I found a place to sleep, and she was sloshed AF. What's AF stand for? Just kidding. Like no idea what was going on. Couldn't tell me where she was, all that. My old principal was behind me listening, and he just said to come over here and I would get a transport home. Then he said something about that's why they call it communism. Couldn't tell if he was talking about what he or my grandmother was doing. So I got some sort of bus. I racked my bike on. However, I'd left my backpack at the stop, so I went and grabbed it, but the bus had started leaving, so I ran to it. Someone had radioed the driver to tell them I was coming. I got on the bus, and then I woke up. Yeah, I know, Crystal Shaman, I'm teasing. Anyways, brother. So, the word that stood out the most to me was the hatchet. I know there's a lot of stuff. Like this is obviously bringing up the past. We've got a principal when you've been done, graduated. We've got all these kids from school. We've got grandma. We've got all these things representing the past. But the hatchet really stood out to me. The hatchet in the backpack. The backpack. What are we carrying around? What are we carrying? So it's like, all right, so what are you carrying? And what are you attempting to leave behind? Because, the backpack was left. But like part of me is almost just like, was the backpack maybe intentionally left? So the hatchet really stood out to me. So I looked this one up, and it basically said a hatchet or an axe represents breaking whatever took place back then. I can't even read my own handwriting. Any of you left-handed out there and you write stuff down and then you can't read it? Okay, breaking apart into the appropriate size pieces that you can handle, okay? So the hatchet was actually representing something that took place in school, something that took place with family, but I'd say more with school. So basically representing something that took place in the past, and this is your own soul's way of telling you to break this apart into segments, to transmute it, to heal it, to do whatever needs to be done with what took place back then. So, brother, I hope that helps as well. I mean, this can also, it sounds kind of, there's a lot going on right now politically. So, it does seem like there's a little bit of that going on. Maybe this was your way of processing it. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But let's not get away from the meat and potatoes of what is spirit trying to communicate to you. Okay, because that's what's most important, is what spirit's trying to get through to you. All right, so I got another one. I don't know if she wants to be anonymous, but who knows? We'll just do it. AD, my sister AD, out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with me. This is a quick one. I just had a dream recently that I'd be curious what you'd say it means. I was on another dimension with an otherworldly woman / being. Like us, but not at the same time. I was asking her about a part of my stomach that hurts. She put her hand on this area, and I watched her eyes change. Looked like it traveled millions of miles in seconds and kept going, like traveling through space and time. And I said in the dream, it's a portal to another universe? In my knowing sense, she agreed, and I woke up. What do you make of this? Have an awesome day. AD, you have an awesome day too, sister. What do I make of this? Okay. So, it is a portal. The stomach is a portal. This is one of the most common areas for my spiritual family and, all of everybody, needing healing. Not that you need healing, sister. I'm not saying that, but it is definitely a portal. I see a lot of people. I would say out of every 5 sessions, there's one person that's having some sort of stomach issue or, bloating or, sacral chakra issue because of the mind. The mind easily affects the stomach, especially if we're having difficulty deciding whether to go left or go right. And I know a lot of you that took the tarot course with me know this. There's certain cards, like the Two of Swords. The person has the blindfold on, and they're like this with the 2 swords. If you remember that one from any of the readings, that's what that card literally says, is the difficulty knowing whether to go left or go right. And anytime you see the bandages in the tarot, it's saying that, the mind causing issues to manifest in the body, or it's representing thoughts, or it's representing, things about thoughts or things about manifestations taking place. Because what will actually happen, and this is like Louise Hay 101, the, how to heal your body. Firm believer in that. I did spiritual work on my own and then found that book afterwards when my teacher Connie gave it to me. And I was like, I've already done this stuff. So once again, it's when theory becomes law. I love that. That's like a mathematical equation. When you read something or hear something, or you hear somebody else say something, and it's my theory or my philosophy that this works in metaphysics, but you're like, I already figured that out on my own. That already works for me. So for you, it isn't a theory anymore, is it? Because it's already happened to you without ever hearing about it. So anyways, certain things I healed, especially that upper right hip pain from guilt or, blaming people and needing to forgive, just through my transformation of healing that debilitating hip pain through, my own belief structure and forgiving myself and forgiving others. But the stomach 101, difficulty knowing whether to go left or go right. So I believe this was actually some sort of other dimensional version or higher self, or you're angelic, or a, some version of God communicating with you. The way that you explain this, and it looks beautiful in my mind's eye when I see this, that was definitely spirit communicating with you. This, talking about this portal and talking about time and space, epic stuff. It was short but sweet. I love it. So the portal is referring to the best possible timeline, and the stomach's talking about whether to go left or go right. So, there's some sort of decision, sister. And my only question to you would have been, is this actually a pain, or was this just a pain in the stomach during the dream? That's kind of, inconsequential, and not inconsequential. It doesn't really matter for the deciphering of the dream. I'll tell you that. If that actually is a pain that you have in an everyday life, then yeah, you really, really got to release this. What is the thing you want to do, sister? What is this left or right? What is this thing that you stand in the middle? Because it's exhausting to stand in the middle. It's really exhausting. I like to picture the person, it's almost like, what up, Owen? Yeah, you watch Ninja Warrior when they do the spider climb, and they jump off the trampoline, and then they boom, and they get their feet out and their arms out, and they're holding themselves in the little hallway. It's just big enough to hold a person up, and then they got to go across it. It's almost like that. It's almost like when we won't make a decision, we're like this, we're boom. It's I got this. Yeah, but how long do you got that for? Can you sleep like that? No, you can't. But we force ourselves to sometimes. So, and that's what it looks like. Do I go to the left wall, or do I go to the right wall? Do I go up? Do I go back down? Where do I go from here in between these two places? So that's literally exhausting. And, what's just to touch back base on this Louise Hay thing. Sometimes if we keep having a thought, and it's not good to have this thought, the body will make certain issues come up, like a headache, or, oh, you're worrying about money. We'll give them, we'll ping the body with lower back pain. Oh, they need to forgive people or themselves. We'll ping them with the top right hip pain. Oh, they can't decide whether to go left or go right. Let's just bang some, bloating or indigestion or irritable bowel syndrome or something in their stomach. When this stuff happens, we're trying to communicate with ourselves. So, just take that into accord and don't anchor it into the reality. Don't think, oh, I have this pain since this day and it won't go away. No, you can't think that. We have to take accountability for it and be grateful for it and say, this is spirit communicating with me. Because the long-term effects of having these negative thoughts is worse than the thing that is happening in the present moment. The long-term effects of me not forgiving myself and not forgiving others, which was right hip pain, was much worse. Like maybe it was like, maybe a C word or something else. If I couldn't ever work to forgiveness. So this stuff will come in stages. So, research in the books, research in the, and you don't even have to buy the book. You can just literally be like, Louise, hey, what does it mean in my body? Just Google it, just find the information and then just, do the work, plain and simple. And, that's my only thing to you, sister. It could be something temporarily. I do believe it's talking about timelines because you were saying time and space and you got that, I think you're doing the appropriate shifts and the appropriate work to get on the best possible timeline. And to get on this best possible timeline, your soul needs to know, your inner child needs to know that you can decide whether to go left or go right. Plain and simple. So, I hope this helped everybody. I freaking love you guys so much. We got so much more information and awesome videos to come to you. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe. A big shout out to my Patreon supporters. If you want to, become a patron, we'll add some sort of link down below. It's a blast. I'm going live, a couple times a week, and I get to really speak to you guys. I get to say all the things that would get the video to glitch or to be deleted off the internet. So I'm really grateful that you guys gave me that avenue, the patrons that signed up and are supporting me and supporting the channel. I really love you from the bottom of my heart, all of you. Thank you all. And you want to book your own session, galactictarot.com. You want to get some awesome energy tools like this bracelet to help you remember your dreams, crystalcurrent.com. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I saw it, brother man. Thank you guys all so very much from the bottom of my heart. Like I was saying, I'll see you very soon. Romance spreads will be on the 15th, but I'm sure I'll see you before then for some awesome content, whether it's live or going to be posted up here. And I'll see you on Saturday on Instagram, Galactic Tarot, for your weekly readings. Mwah. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching. See you soon.